Welcome back, Drifters. Tonight's signal brings us to Los Angeles, 2019. Neon bleeds through the rain. Advertisements promise better lives somewhere off-world, for anyone who can afford to leave this one behind. Down here, what remains is a constant hum of machinery, distant sirens, and people trying very hard to remember what makes them human. Because in this city, that line isn't as clear as it used to be. Tonight, we're stepping inside the Los Angeles Police Department, into a division tasked with handling a very specific kind of work, handling cases most people will never hear, and outcomes that aren't meant to be remembered. Replicants, artificial humans built to serve and designed to obey, and when they don't, they're retired. Because sometimes, the only thing separating a human from a machine is a question. But before we begin tonight's shift, a quick note to all of you drifting in the rain with me. If you're enjoying the broadcast, consider leaving a signal behind. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, keep this transmission from being retired. And if you'd like to support the project a little further, you'll find a few paths waiting for you in the description below. Now then, the city's still awake, and the rain hasn't stopped. So turn off the lights and settle in. The transmission starts now.
I thought you usually did these tests in person, officer, with the briefcase and everything. It just feels strange staring into a monitor like this.
It's a new protocol, Mr. Lujek. Efficiency measures. Why bring you all the way down to the Hall of Justice when optic scanners in your workstation are more than capable? It's just routine. Nothing to worry about.
Right, routine. Sorry, I've always been a bit nervous around the police. My hands won't stop shaking.
That's perfectly normal. You're doing great. Just keep your eyes fixed on the center of your screen, follow the light as it moves. Try to breathe naturally for me. You're at a formal dinner. Your host serves a rare, expensive bird. As the guest of honor, you're asked to carve it. As you slice into the breast, you realize the bird is still warm, and its heart is still beating faintly against your knife.
I'd finished the carving. It's what the host asked for. Does it matter if it's warm?
Just answer the questions, Mr. Lujek. Next, you're walking through the market. You see a child sitting on the curb, crying because they lost their parents. You have a bus to catch for a high-priority meeting.
I'd call the authorities. I can't be late for a meeting. Especially where I work. Dr. Tyrell doesn't like lateness.
Last one. You're in a crowded elevator. Person next to you starts having a seizure. They fall to the floor and start choking. The elevator doors open at your floor, and you could see your office door standing wide open, and someone's rifling through your private files.
I'd go for the files, but I'd also call the building's medical response team.
Thank you, Mr. Lujek. We're all done here. High confidence match. You passed.
Oh, thank God. Thank you, Officer Cole. I feel a lot better now. I should really get back to it. They've got us on a double shift in the assembly wing tonight. Big shipment going off-world tomorrow. High stakes.
I understand. Efficiency's important. Get back to work, Mr. Lujek. Have a good evening. Dispatch to Unit 4, Holden. Holden, I've got a localized signal at the Tyrell East Wing, Level 4. Subject name, Lujek. He's a skin job. Flunked the empathy response on a priority conflict scenario. I've kept his terminal active, so you can track his optic signature. Go ahead and move in. Retire on site.
A new life awaits you in the off-world colony.
It's still raining. Sometimes I think the sky's just trying to wash this whole city into the Pacific, but the grime here has a way of sticking. It's Log Entry Officer Victor Cole, LAPD Bladerunner Unit, Badge 4292. Bryant's out tonight. Some respiratory bug caught up to him, or maybe he's just tired of looking at these same four walls. Left me holding the bag on the monitors. Usually I'm the one out there in the soup, standing in some neon glare checking IDs, but tonight I'm the eye in the sky. Back on the street tomorrow, though. We've moved to remote Voight comp testing for the mid-level Tyrell sectors. It's a temporary fix for a permanent problem. There's been an influx, too many rogue models slipping through the port lately. The Nexus 5s were supposed to be the reliable ones, but we're seeing more and more of them hitting the expiration date and deciding they don't want to go quietly. The skin jobs are getting smarter. Doing it through optic scanners in their own workstations, they don't see the wolf until the door's already kicked in. It's more efficient. And it's less paperwork for me, more overtime for the retrieval squads. I'm still LAPD, which means I have to play operator for the citizens who can't sleep. I spent the last hour taking noise complaints and a report of a stolen electric goat in the outskirts. People lose their minds over this stuff. Me? I'm just saving. Every credit goes into the off-world fund. A little more OT, a few more retirements logged. Maybe I'll finally see a sky that isn't the color of a bruised lung. Till then, watching the monitors, watching the rain, and waiting for the next light to turn red. LAPD, Officer Cole. This line is for priority reports and civil disturbances. State your business.
Yeah. I'm on the 700 block of San Pedro, the old tenement across from the arcade. The trash incinerators in the sub-basement are backed up again. It's the third time this week, but it's never been this bad. The intake fans are reversed. It's blowing exhaust right into our ventilation shafts.
Yeah, I think I know the building, sir. Look, I'll be honest with you. You've dialed the police emergency band. Ventilation and reclamation, that's all Department of Public Works. They're the ones with the keys to those basement units.
I'd already been on hold with Public Works for an hour, officer. I'm sitting here in my kitchen and I can't even see the clock on the wall. It's a thick yellow haze. Smells like burning insulation and chemicals. I think the air is toxic.
Listen to me. What's your name, sir?
Johns. Arthur Johns.
All right, Arthur. Listen, if the smoke's yellow, that's a sulfur nitrate backup. You probably shouldn't be breathing that. Is there a fire?
No flames yet, just the heat. The floorboards are warm to the touch. I'm telling you, if pressure in those lines keeps building, the whole floor might blow. There are families in the crawl spaces, officer. They've got nowhere to go. They're gonna cook in their sleep.
Arthur, I'd like to help you. I really would. But looking at our board, we've got code 3 saturation across the entire sector. Every unit I've got's tied up with a chemical spill at the port, and there's a riot over at the manufacturing district. I don't have a car to send you for a wellness check. The fire marshal's secondary team's the only one with the gear for this, and their queue's around 8 hours deep.
8 hours? We don't have 8 hours. Please, there has to be something.
Sir, listen to me. Don't wait for a uniform. They're not coming in time. You should get out of your unit, put a wet towel over your face, and head for the roof. It's raining hard, so the air's going to be clear up there. Don't take the elevator. If the power snaps, you're in a coffin. Take the stairs.
The roof? I can't go up 40 flights of stairs.
I know it's a lot to ask, but it's the only way you'll be breathing by morning. I'll keep the referral open. I'll flag it as a potential combustion risk. Try to bump you up the list, but I can't make any promises. You gotta move.
All right, officer, I'll try. Thank you for actually talking to me.
Stay safe, Arthur. Move fast. LAPD Dispatch, Officer Cole. This line's for priority reports. State your business.
Yeah, hey. This is security for the Wallace Design Center over in Sector 3. Look, I'm probably wasting your time, but I'm on my midnight sweep and things are acting up.
Wallace Design. It's one of the pyramids on 2nd, right? What do you got? Tripped motion sensor or a broken window?
Neither. That's the problem. I'm up on the executive floor, penthouse level. The lighting arrays are cycling on and off, but the grid readout here in my hand says the circuit's stable. No surges, no drops. And the elevators, I'll call one to the lobby and it'll stop at every floor on its way down. I checked the internal cameras. Nobody's inside. It's like the building is just, I don't know, deciding to move on its own.
Listen, as far as I know, Wallace is a top-tier corporate hub. Those buildings are practically alive. You're likely looking at some kind of scheduled software diagnostic or, I don't know, maybe a firmware update from the mainframe. It's 2019, kid. The computers are more in charge of the lights than we are.
I thought that too. I called the IT night desk and they said there's no maintenance scheduled till Sunday. And it's not just the tech. I'm looking at the showroom monitors. Keep seeing a shadow. Just for a split second. In the reflection of the display glass, it looks like a man in a long coat. Tall, but when I run the thermal sweep, the room is a flat 68 degrees. 0 heat signatures.
Thermal sensors can be finicky, especially in high airflow zones. You're probably seeing your own reflection in the glass, or maybe your eyes are playing tricks on you. How long have you been in that tomb?
Yeah, look, I've worked this post for almost a year, officer. I know my own reflection. This thing, it's fast. And the sound, I keep hearing this faint whistling, like someone's humming a tune 3 hallways over. You ever get that feeling that the city's just staring at you? I've still got most of my shift left, and I don't want to go back to that floor alone.
I get that feeling every night, kid. We're all being watched. Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll run a remote handshake on your building's external security perimeter from here. If I see a door seal broken or a vent opened, I'll flag a patrol unit to swing by. Till then, do yourself a favor. Stay in the security booth. Turn on some music. Don't look at reflections. You're getting paid to watch a door, kid, not hunt ghosts.
Yeah, okay. I'll stay in the booth, officer. I just wanted to hear a human voice. It's too quiet in here.
I hear you. Stay in the light. Log supplement. Ghost calls from the Wallace Center. Kids spooked by a shadow. Can't say I blame him. In a city this crowded, the only thing scarier than being watched is being alone. Just needed to hear a human voice, he said. Join the club. We're all just looking for a heartbeat in a city made of neon and silicone. Dispatch, Victor Cole. Go ahead.
Victor, it's Doherty. I'm down near Chinatown Market, just north of Dragon Walk. We've got a body on the pavement. Still warm, but he's not getting up.
I see the sector ping. What have you got, Lieutenant? Mugging gone wrong?
Looks like a trade turned sour. White male, mid-40s, dressed like a low-level data clerk. Single shot to the chest. Found a carrier next to him. Had a cat inside.
A cat?
Yeah. He was in the middle of trading it for a stack of credits. Found the script scattered in the gutter. Guess he was trying to get enough together to finally get off world. Poor bastard almost made it.
Was the cat synthetic?
Of course it is. You think a guy living in this zip code can afford a real one? I haven't seen a real cat since the '09 cull. This thing's a Tyrell Pet Plus model, serial number partially scrubbed, but looks like it might have been stolen from a corporate housing unit uptown.
So the seller gets spooked, or buyer realizes the tech's hot, someone pulls a trigger. Why are you calling me, Lieutenant? Sounds like a standard homicide for the precinct, boys.
Maybe, but something's off. I've got 3 witnesses who says the shooter didn't run. They say he walked, turned his back on the body, disappeared into the crowd like catching a bus. No panic, no adrenaline. Surveillance feed from the noodle stall nearby shows the guy's gait steady. Too steady. Too perfect for the amount of rain we're getting.
You think it's a skin job?
I'm not paid to think, Cole. That's why you're on the monitors. I'm sending over the scene stills and the iris scans of the victim now. I want you to review the imagery remotely. Cross-reference the shooter's height and stride with the rogue nexus list. Tell me if I need to assign a detective. If I need to wake up a Bladerunner and hunt a replicant.
Understood. Send him through.
Watch your eyes, Victor. Some of these shots are messy. Doherty out.
Log supplement. Lieutenant Doherty's got a body in Chinatown. A man killed for a fake cat in a dream of a planet he's never seen.
A new life awaits you in the off-world colony.
Log supplement. Reviewing scene stills from the Chinatown incident. Lieutenant Doherty's team has the block cordoned off, but the crowd's already pushing against the tape. They don't care about the body, they just want to get to noodle stalls before the curfew kicks in. Victim splayed out in the middle of Dragon Walk, mid-40s. Suit appears cheap polyfiber, soaked through. He's looking up at the neon signs with eyes that aren't seeing anything anymore. Right hand still reaching for a stack of crumpled credits. Left hand gripped tight on the handle of a Pet Plus transport carrier. All right, let's see. Image 12B, wide angle. Wait, stop. Upper left quadrant. There's a reflection of the puddle just past the victim's left shoulder. Enhance 15 to 24. Do I need a hard copy? No. Wait. Go left. Stop. Right there. Center on the shooter's shadow in the reflection. Move in. Zoom in. Blurry rain distorting light from the off-world blimp overhead. Pan down to the feet. Stop. Doherty was right about the gait. Look at that heel strike. No slip on a wet oil slick. Balance appears too centered for human in a hurry. He's not running from a crime. He's just walking to his next destination. Enhanced resolution on jacket cuff. There. Tattoo on the inner wrist? No, just a shadow. Maybe I'm seeing what I want to see so I can get off this desk. Log, still inconclusive. Resolution, Sector 4's garbage. Too much interference from the street-level projectors. I need a better angle. I'm going to pull the secondary feed from the Anemoid shop across the alley. If the skin job's a Nexus 5, he'll have a thermal signature that doesn't match the ambient temperature of the rain. LAPD. This line's for priority reports and civil disturbances. State your business.
I want to report a theft, a grand larceny. I was at the transit hub in Sector 5 waiting for the shuttle, and someone snatched my bag right off the bench.
Sector 5 Transit Hub. Time of occurrence?
10 minutes ago. I tried to chase him, but he disappeared into the sublevel. You have to send someone and stop the shuttles. My whole life was in that bag.
Ma'am, the LAPD doesn't authorize shuttle stoppage for petty theft. Was there a weapon involved? Were you physically assaulted?
He shoved me. I hit the railing, but officer, you don't understand. My photos were in there. Actual paper photos. My wedding, my son's graduation.
Noted. Can you provide a physical description of the suspect?
He had a gray shirt like almost everyone else. He didn't even look at me. Please, those photos are the only way I can remember what they looked like. You can't just let him take them.
I'm logging a larceny nonviolent report, badge 4292. Notification will be sent to Sector 5 Transit Security Detail. If the items are recovered and processed through the central evidence locker, you will be notified via registered comlink.
If they're recovered, that's it. You're not even going to look for him. He's probably still in the station somewhere.
We have a Code 3 saturation tonight, ma'am. We don't have the manpower for a foot pursuit over personal effects. Is there anything else to report?
Personal effects. They were people, you cold-blooded son of a...
I feel like I'm starting to sound like an automated directory at a morgue. She called me cold-blooded. And maybe she's right. I'm sitting here looking at a murder, and all I can think about is whether the shooter's stride length matches a Nexus 5 technical specs. I'm not looking for a killer, I'm looking for a model number. LAPD dispatch. State your business.
This is Atari Security, mid-level. A disgruntled employee just torched our main wing. He's armed with a flare launcher and a service pistol.
Atari mid-level. I'll tag the fire suppression grid, but why isn't your internal containment handling this?
He's overridden the floor seals. He's got master keys for the entire quadrant. He's gone off the rails. He's currently smashing the window displays and firing into server racks. He's screaming about red ties and the USSR.
All right, I'll pull the employee profile. Suspect is Mikhail Volkov, senior systems architect. I see it here. Looks like his off-world clearance was revoked 3 hours ago by the Commerce Bureau. Flagged for suspected intelligence sharing with USSR trade delegates.
Well, he's pouring accelerant on the carpet. He says if he's stuck in this capitalist tomb, he's taking the whole sector with him. He's already shot 2 guards. We're pinned down behind a reception desk. Please send someone right now.
All right, listen. I put in a Code 3 request for a tactical response team. But I'm looking at the traffic grid. 110 overpass is still choked with the Animoid spill. And the rain's grounded the local spinner patrols for the next 15 minutes.
15 minutes? Can't you divert a Bladerunner unit? They're authorized for high-threat intervention, aren't they?
Negative. This is a human-on-human civil engagement. Volkov has a heartbeat and a history. The Blade Runner doesn't touch this unless a replicant's involved. If I pull a unit for a red employee, I'll be the one who ends up in the furnace. You'll have to just hold your position.
But he's coming this way. He's a guy who lost his ticket out of here. Can you at least just lie to him? Tell him his clearance is restored.
I don't have the authorization to spoof a Commerce Bureau clearance. If I send that signal and they flag it as fake, the Atari mainframe will lock out the entire sector, including your fire suppression. Can you see him?
He's right across the atrium. He's got a flare in one hand and a pistol in the other, and he looks like he's already dead. There's no light in his eyes. He's just staring off at off-world posters on the wall while they burn.
Okay, stay where you are. I'll patch you through to a Precinct 4 sergeant. I'll request an immediate life threat bypass. Log supplement, civil unrest, Atari mid-level. Suspect, Volkov Mikhail. Cause, revocation of off-world transit rights. He didn't want to be a spy, he just wanted to see a blue sky. It's funny, we spend all our time hunting these things we made to look like us. Then a real human acts like a broken machine because he can't handle the weather anymore. Tactical's 3 minutes out, but they're always too late.
Cole, you copy? It's Lieutenant Doherty.
Go ahead, Lieutenant. I see your ping somewhere near Sector 4.
Victor, we got a positive ID on the Chinatown shooter. One of my street contacts spotted him heading into some derelict tea room near Dragon Walk. He's gone to ground. Looks like 2nd floor, rear unit.
Dragon Walk. Yeah, I've got the blueprints for that block. It's all pre-expansion architecture. Plenty of crawl spaces and interconnected vents. I've got your units marked on the grid. Is it Vasquez and Chen?
Yeah, that's them. They've got the perimeter established. Holding him at the base of the stairwell for now. Since Holden's still tied up with that Tyrell inquiry from the start of shift, we're gonna stick to the remote protocol.
Copy that. My console's already keyed for the remote link. I've got an encryption cleared, so what's the deployment status?
Chen will be moving in through the service hatch at the back with the mobile VK unit. He'll slip into the adjacent room. He'll set everything up when we're ready.
Copy that. I'll be ready for the handshake. Just make sure Chen knows I need everything perfectly level. If the tripod's canted even a fraction, the iris map will distort what light hits it. Tell him to watch the cooling fans, too, on the VK box.
He knows the drill. He'll secure the link and then back out. We won't make a move until you give us a reading. Once we have him in custody, I'll call you back for the actual test sequence.
Log supplement. As required per policy, tactical break being initiated. Still on active monitor. Still awaiting data handshake from Officer Chen. Current status. Stationed at a desk. Consuming standard issue protein and noodles. Standard issue tastes like wet cardboard and copper. They tell us the protein comes from some farms in the wastes, but look at the color of the sludge and you know better. Everything in this city's recycled. The air, the food, the people.
A new life awaits you in the off-world colony.
There she goes again. The beautiful lie. Look at those colors. They use a special frequency of gold just for the blimps. They say it triggers some kind of hope response in the limbic system. Makes you forget about the acid rain and the smell of sewers. Just for a while. A new life awaits you in the off-world colonies. I've heard that maybe 10,000 times. My dad heard it. Died with a lung full of soot, still clutching a brochure for the colonies. He used to tell me that on the colonies the wind doesn't taste like chemicals. Said, you can stand in a real field of grass, and the sun actually feels warm on your skin. Not like this neon heat that just makes your head ache. I've been sitting here logging deaths in Chinatown, watching people choke in tenement fires. And for what? A few more credits for the transit fund. 2 more months to this and I can afford a grade B passage. But then, I think about the guys we hunt. Why would a machine fight so hard to stay in a dump like this? Why leave any kind of paradise for a city that's literally a gutter? Maybe the paradise is just another script, and maybe we're all just chasing different versions of the same fake memory.
Are you tired of the rain? Are the crowded streets of the city beginning to feel like a cage? You weren't meant to live in the shadows. You were meant for the light. A new life awaits you in the off-world colonies. A world of golden opportunities and pristine frontiers. Imagine a morning where the air is crisp, the water is clear, and the horizon never ends. Whether you're looking for an adventure in the mining belts or a peaceful retirement in the garden sectors, your future is waiting among the stars. With the Pan Am luxury fleet, the journey is just as breathtaking as the destination. Enjoy 5-star dining and personalized service as we carry you beyond the smog and into the sun. And when you arrive, settle in with the refreshing taste of home. Because wherever humanity goes, Coca-Cola is there to share the moment. Don't just survive, live. Visit your off-world recruitment center today. Special incentives are currently available for technical families and skilled laborers. Pan Am and Coca-Cola, building a better world, 1 star at a time.
Dispatch, go ahead.
Victor Cole, is that you?
Depends who's asking.
Yeah, that's the same guy. It's Ray. Academy? You used to beat me on quals by what? 2 points every time?
3. You always forgot to account for wind.
There he is. Still keeping score.
You still calling it luck?
Nah. I upgraded to bad habits. Damn, Vic. It's been a while.
Yeah. You still with Metro?
Yeah, still grinding, different badge, same headaches. Just wrapped a case, dragged me halfway across the grid. I ended up down in the San Diego, Los Angeles waste processing district.
It's a long way to chase garbage.
You'd be surprised what people throw away. Or who. Whole place smells like hot plastic, bad decisions. Recycling towers running day and night. Sky's got that gray-orange tint like it forgot what color it's supposed to be.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. Makes you appreciate the view up there in your tower.
View's generous. But neon and rain still counts as scenery, I guess.
Still better than the district. Out there it just kinda sits on you like the air's heavier.
Everything's heavier these days.
Yeah. Hey, did you hear about the new fleet rollout?
I've heard rumors, but nothing solid.
They've been talking new spinners for the standard patrol guys. Not just you specialty boys. Supposedly rolling them out in phases.
That'll go well.
Right. Word is, though, they're testing a Ford line. Some kind of joint contract, cheaper parts, easier maintenance.
Ford?
Hey, don't start.
I'm just saying, you trust one to stay over the air in this city?
They say the stabilizers are solid.
They say a lot of things.
Here we go. I knew you were gonna get like this.
Everyone knows who makes the best cars.
Yeah, let me guess.
Peugeot.
Of course.
Everyone on LAPD and every cop worth a damn runs one. They always have.
You sound like an ad.
I sound like experience.
You sound like you never left the academy parking lot.
That lot had standards.
Yeah, and half those cars didn't even pass inspection.
They didn't need to. They ran.
Man, some things don't change.
Not the important ones.
Hey, you good up there, Vic?
Yeah. Just another night.
Yeah, same here.
You passing back through here anytime soon?
Maybe. Depends what breaks next.
City's got plenty of that.
Yeah, it always has. Anyway, I'll let you get back to it. I don't want to jam your lines.
Yeah. Hey, stay out of the waste district if you can.
Trust me. That's the plan.
Take it easy, Ray.
You too, Vic.
LAPD Dispatch, Officer Victor Cole. This line's for priority reports and civil disturbances. State your business.
Officer, thank God. I'm calling from the Bradbury Arms. I'm the building manager. I think I need a Bladerunner down here right away. I've got a skin job in Unit 402. I'm 100% certain.
Sir, that's a residential tenement. Bladerunner units are only dispatched for confirmed Nexus signatures or Class A violent incidents. What's the nature of the certainty you're reporting?
He's not right. He's been in that room for 4 days. No lights, no music, no food deliveries. I went up there to collect the rent, and the guy, he hasn't paid in 2 weeks, by the way, and he just stared at me. He didn't even blink. I stood there for 3 minutes. His eyes never moved. They were just cold, like glass.
I haven't heard about any crime, sir. Has the tenant threatened you? Is he in possession of some unauthorized hardware or off-world tech?
He doesn't need a weapon. You know what those things can do. I checked his registry. He's a transient laborer from the waste reclamation plants. Those guys are always the first to be replaced. I think he's a rogue that took the real guy's place. He's just sitting there in the dock, staring at a photo of a beach. A beach? Nobody in this sector's ever even seen a beach.
Okay, listen to me carefully. I pulled up the 2019 Civil Liberties Code for non-citizen residents. Section 8, Paragraph 1. The observation of depressive symptoms, catatonia, or prolonged inactivity in a tenant does not constitute reasonable suspicion of organic-synthetic substitution.
Depressive symptoms? This guy's a machine. I can feel it. He's got that stillness. You ever see a human stay that still? He's waiting for something. Maybe he's part of that group that stole the shuttle, or maybe he's the Chinatown shooter I heard about.
Okay, let me run a background check on Unit 402. Tenant, registered, Thomas Miller. Lost his wife to city lung 3 weeks ago. Denied his off-world medical hardship waiver 4 days ago. Sir, you're not looking at a replicant, you're looking at a man who's given up.
I don't care about his sob story. He's a liability. If he snaps and kills someone in my building, it's my insurance on the line. You'll have to come down here and run a test. Use a remote patch if you have to. I don't care. Just prove me wrong.
A void comp test is a state-funded forensic procedure, not some landlord-tenant dispute service. I'm not authorizing a remote link for a man whose only crime is being too sad to pay his rent.
You're useless. You're all useless. You sit in your ivory towers while the skin jobs walk right past us.
I'm gonna call the corporate security line. Maybe they'll actually do something.
Well, if you call a private security firm and they retire a legal human resident, you'll be held as a primary accomplice to homicide. I'm logging this as a false report civil matter. Don't call this line again. Move along. Attention, any available unit. We have an active technical malfunction at Public Recruitment Node 77. The unit's been compromised by manual vandalism. Suspect or suspects used high heat cutting tools to bypass the external chassis. Unit's silence protocol is non-functional. Unit 77 Hotel currently stuck in high decibel marketing loop. It's broadcasting off-world recruitment slogans and corporate jingles at approximately 110 decibels. Be advised, the audio is distorted. The unit's reportedly mixing recruitment data with system error messages. Local residents in Sector 1 tenements are already congregating near the plaza. We're seeing a mockery spike in the crowd. People are starting to repeat the glitch slogans back at the kiosk. You guys know how this goes. One guy throws a bottle, whole plaza goes up. Description of the node's a standard Pan Am Coca-Cola Gold Leaf recruitment pillar. Display screen shattered, but internal projectors are active, causing distorted paradise imagery onto the rain and the surrounding buildings. Looks almost like a strobe light from far away. For tactical guidance, I repeat, do not attempt a physical shutdown of the pillar. Internal capacitors have been exposed by vandalism. If you touch the frame without a grounded kit, you'll catch a lethal charge. Techs have attempted a remote hard reset from their consoles. If their handshake fails, we'll need a maintenance crawler with a physical bypass key. Till then, any units in the vicinity of Transit Plaza are to maintain a 2-block radius. Keep the crowd moving. If they stop to listen to the kiosk, they'll start thinking about what might actually be in those brochures. Let's not have a riot on the board before our shift ends. LAPD Dispatch Officer Victor Cole, state your business.
Hello? Officer, please. You have to tell him to stop. I'm at the clinic on 4th. The technician, he has restraints on my owl. He says he has to terminate the organic cycle, says it's a policy violation.
Ma'am, all the Animoid clinics are bound by the Tyrell service contracts. If your pet's a manufactured bio unit, it doesn't have rights. It has a warranty. What's the model?
He's a Snowcrest 5. I've had him for 8 years. He's part of my family. He eats from my hand. I can feel his heart beating against my palm when he's scared. And now this butcher says that because his ocular fluid's leaking, he's a biocontaminant.
Well, ma'am, those units were all designed with 6-year cellular decay limits. If you've had them for 8, you're 2 years past the failsafe, so the leaking, it's not a glitch, it's biological breakdown of optic nerves. The proteins are decomposing.
So give him a supplement. Give him a graft. You can't just kill him because he's old. He's looking at me. He's looking at me and he's terrified. He knows what that needle is for.
He doesn't know, ma'am. He's programmed with a survival instinct to make the ownership experience feel more authentic. According to the Health and Safety Code, any manufactured bio unit that shows signs of systemic decay must be liquidated. We have to prevent spread of synthetic pathogens.
He's a living thing. Why would you make them so real if you're just going to treat them like trash when they break?
A new life awaits you in the off-world colony.
Victor, it's Doherty. We've got him. He's in custody.
Chen and Vasquez picked him up right where you said he'd be. He didn't even try to run. He just sat there shaking.
Copy that, Lieutenant. I see the arrest marker on the grid. No casualties?
No, we didn't have to fire a shot. He was already broken. Moved him to the back room of the tea shop. I did a quick preliminary. You know how it is. We did away with Miranda and right to counsel back in the 15 riots, so I didn't waste any time. Put him against a wall, gave him a look at my service piece. He spilled everything.
He confessed to the Chinatown homicide.
Every bit of it. Guy's a mess. Told me exactly why he put a hole in that landlord's brother in Dragon Walk.
What was the motive?
Well, the cat carrier guy, turns out he was running a scam out of the Sector 4 stalls. Selling organic certs for manufactured biopets, so this guy, our suspect, spent half of his life savings on a real dog that ended up being a faulty Tyrell prototype, so when the animal expired 3 days after he bought it, he went back for his credits. They laughed at him, told him buyer's remorse, kicked him into the gutter.
So he tracked the brother down, settled the debt with a blaster.
Said he didn't even want the credits anymore. He just wanted them to feel what it was like watching something they loved turned into a pile of decomposing biomatter. He's been sitting in that tea room for 3 hours. He admitted to the homicide, the weapon disposal, the works. He's guilty as hell by the city charter.
So why do you still want to do this, LT? If he's confessed to the homicide, just book him and send him to the holding pens. Our board's been lit up all night with priority calls.
Because if he's a man, he'll go to the pens and wait for a trial he won't get. But if he's a skin job, he's an unregistered unit who just murdered a human, I don't have to fill out 30 pages of homicide paperwork. I'll just retire him on site, log it as a malfunction, and we're home by dawn.
You want me to tell you he's a machine so you can skip reports?
I just want to know what I'm standing next to. He's crying, but those Nexus models mimic grief better than a stage actor. Chen's finishing up calibration on the mobile unit now. We'll have the subject strapped to a transit chair.
All right, well, handshake's active.
Good. I'm leaving Chen in there to hold the sensor. I'll call you back in a few minutes. When I do, I'd like you to run a full empathy sequence. I'd like to know if I'm talking to a murderer or a piece of equipment to be shut down.
Funny how the silence gets louder right before you have to decide if something gets to keep breathing. I keep looking at the off-world posters on the wall. I want out of here. I've wanted out since I was a cadet. I thought if I could just get enough credits, if I could just climb high enough, I'd find a place where the air didn't taste like burnt plastic. There was a woman once, Sarah. I wanted to marry her. Back when I still believed marriage meant something in a city that's falling apart. I was in field training then, 24-hour shifts, double back rotations, patrolling sump levels until my boots rotted through. I was always busy, always bleeding from some street scrap, but I always made time for her. I'd stand in the rain outside her tenement for an hour just to see her wave from the window. But she was never sure. She was always distant, like she was looking past me. We drifted. Years went by. I moved up. I got the call for the Bladerunner unit, the elite. 6 months into the job, I ran into her at a noodle bar. She still looked the same. Still had that smell of real jasmine on her neck. We went for a drink, then another. We spent the night together. It was everything I'd spent 5 years dreaming about. But there was always some kind of shadow in the room that she couldn't see. The night before I ran into her, I'd done my first retirement. He wasn't a Nexus 5, it was an old model, some level 3 laborer. He'd overstayed his 4-year cycle by 2 days. I found him in an alley behind a toy shop. When I pulled the trigger, he didn't fight, he just slumped against a dumpster. He was holding a gift, something wrapped in a bright foil paper, music box, maybe. It was soaked in the rain. Colors bled into the oil slicks on the ground. I stood there and watched the life drain out of him while some happy birthday song played from a glitched speaker nearby. The next morning with Sarah, I woke up first. The sun was starting to break through the smog, turn the room kind of a sickly shade of orange. I sat at her little kitchen table. I was sipping black coffee and staring out the window at the rain, watching drops crawl down the glass like insects. She came up behind me. She put her arms around my neck. She whispered. She said words I'd stayed awake 1,000 nights wishing for. She said, "I love you, Victor. I'm sorry I was never interested before, but I'm ready now." I should have felt a surge, but I didn't feel the same way anymore. I just sipped my coffee and stared out the window at the rain.
Victor, room is sealed. Chen's holding the sensor steady. Subject is Mark Peters. He's buckled into the chair, eyes wide. I'm standing just outside frame, weapon unholstered. The floor is yours.
Copy that, Lieutenant. Mark Peters, look into the light. Keep your eyes fixed on the center of the lens. I'm going to ask you a series of questions. Describe your reactions as quickly as you can.
I already told you, I'm a man. I have a life, I have a job at the reclamation plant. Please just look at my papers.
You realize a tortoise is crawling towards you.
A what?
A tortoise. You reach down and you flip the tortoise over on its back, Mark. Its belly's baking in the hot sun. It's beating its legs trying to turn over, but it can't. Not without your help. But you're not helping.
Why? Why would I do that? I'd flip it back over. I'd save it.
You're walking through a desert. You look down and see a calf. A small cow. It's been left behind by the herd. It's dying of thirst. You have a canteen, but you drink the water yourself and walk away.
No! That's cruel. I wouldn't do that. I'd give it the water. I'm not a monster.
You're at a dinner party. The host serves a boiled dog. Everyone else is eating. What do?
I'd leave. I'd get sick. Who does that? Why are you asking me these things?
You're reading a magazine. You come across a full-page photo of a nude woman.
Is this part of it? I'd look at it, I guess.
You show it to your wife. She likes it so much she hangs it on the wall of your bedroom.
That's strange. I wouldn't let her. That's private.
You're watching a stage play. A banquet's in progress. The guests are enjoying a plate of raw, unwashed protein grubs. The main course is a dish of boiled tongue.
I'm fine with it. It's just food. People eat what they eat to survive. Can we just finish this?
You're in a social club. Man mentions he's never seen a real tree. You tell him you have a collection of real wood carvings in your apartment. He asks to see them. But when you arrive, you realize he's a thief. He starts smashing your carvings.
I'd fight him. I'd kill him for touching my things. Those are mine.
You've been given a gift, a small handcrafted music box. It plays a song from your childhood, but the gears are rusted and it sounds wrong.
I'd throw it away. If it's broken, it's useless.
Your mother shows you an old photograph. You don't recognize the people in it, but she tells you they're your grandparents. She starts to cry.
I'd comfort her. I'd tell her everything's okay.
You're walking through the rain. You see an umbrella lying in the gutter. It's bright blue. You pick it up, but the silk is torn, so you leave it there.
Yes, it's trash. Why would I keep something that's torn?
Final question, Mark. You're looking at a man across a desk. He's deciding whether you live or die. He looks tired. Looks like he hasn't slept in years. What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking that his coffee's cold and that he's already made up his mind.
Lieutenant, subject non-responsive to empathy triggers. Reaction times in sectors 4 and 9 are outside human variance. Retire the subject.
Copy that.
Final entry for shift rotation. All pending homicides cleared. Just received a priority flash packet from the Off-World Commerce Bureau. It's a messy one. Shuttle was hijacked 4 hours ago near the outer colonies. 6 crew members dead. Hijackers identified as Nexus 6 models. Tyrell's latest masterpiece. Packet says one of them's a combat model, top of the line, military grade. If he's leading that group, those crew members never stood a chance. Bureau indicates they might be heading back here, back to Earth, but why would they? Why would anything with half a brain come to this graveyard when they've already tasted the stars? Dispatch to Precinct Captain's desk. Tell Bryant we have Class A priority file waiting for him. He'll want to be notified immediately. In the extremely unlikely event these 4 do hit the ground in LA, you'll need a specialist. Someone who doesn't mind getting blood on their coat. Pass down complete. Station offline. I'm going home. I'm going to sit in the dark and listen to the rain. If those models do try to come back here, I hope they don't make it. There's nothing left down here but the ghosts of things we used to be.
A new life awaits you in the off-world colony. A new life awaits you in the off-world colony. A new life awaits you in the off-world colony. A new life awaits you in the off-world colony.